Electrical installations require secure and rigid support for all components, including conduit bodies. National Electrical Code Section 314.16 C2 addresses the support requirements for conduit bodies. Section 314.23E is an acceptable method for supporting a conduit body in a rigid and secure manner. Proper support is crucial for maintaining the integrity of the electrical system and ensuring safety. A conduit body must be supported in a manner that prevents it from becoming loose or damaged due to vibration, physical stress, or environmental factors. Several methods can be used to achieve rigid and secure support. One option is to use conduit hangers or straps specifically designed for supporting conduit. These hangers are typically made of metal and are available in various sizes to accommodate different conduit diameters. They can be attached to walls, ceilings, or other structural elements using screws, bolts, or other appropriate fasteners. The hanger should be spaced according to the manufacturer's instructions and the requirements of the National Electrical Code. Another method is to use conduit clamps or clips to secure the conduit body to a nearby surface. These clamps are typically made of metal or plastic and are designed to grip the conduit tightly. They can be attached to walls, ceilings, or other structural elements using screws or other fasteners. The clamps should be spaced closely enough to prevent the conduit body from sagging or moving. In some cases, it may be necessary to provide additional support for the conduit body, such as using struts or braces. These supports can be used to reinforce the conduit and prevent it from bending or breaking under load. The support should be securely attached to the conduit and the surrounding structure. When selecting a support method, it is important to consider the size and weight of the conduit body, the type of conduit being used, and the environmental conditions in which the installation is located. For example, in areas subject to high winds or seismic activity, it may be necessary to use more robust support methods. It is also important to ensure that the support method is compatible with the conduit material. For example, some types of plastic conduit may require special hangers or clamps to prevent damage to the conduit. In addition to the specific requirements for conduit body support, the National Electrical Code also contains general requirements for the support of all electrical equipment. These requirements are intended to ensure that electrical equipment is installed in a safe and reliable manner. Some of the general requirements for the support of electrical equipment include the following. Firstly, all electrical equipment must be supported in a manner that prevents it from becoming loose or damaged. Secondly, electrical equipment must be supported in a manner that allows for proper ventilation and cooling. Thirdly, electrical equipment must be supported in a manner that does not obstruct access to other equipment or wiring. Fourthly, electrical equipment must be supported in a manner that is compatible with the environmental conditions in which the installation is located. Fifthly, electrical equipment must be supported in a manner that complies with all applicable codes and standards. When installing conduit bodies, it is important to follow all applicable codes and standards, including the National Electrical Code. The National Electrical Code provides detailed requirements for the installation of electrical equipment, including conduit bodies. By following these requirements, you can ensure that your electrical installation is safe and reliable. In addition to the National Electrical Code, there may also be local codes and regulations that apply to electrical installations. It is important to check with your local authorities to determine what codes and regulations apply in your area. Section 314.23 covers different acceptable methods for supporting enclosures. Subsection E addresses the support of enclosures that are not designed or marked for mounting. This section permits supporting such enclosures if they comply with specific criteria. The enclosure must be rigidly and securely fastened to or supported from one of the elements outlined in 314.23 on through FF. 314.23 states that the enclosure is supported by rigid metal conduit, intermediate metal conduit, or rigid non-metallic conduit according to specific conditions. The conduit must be threaded into the enclosure or connected with threadless fittings that are identified for the purpose. Furthermore, the conduit must be supported within 3 feet or 900 millimeters of the enclosure in each direction. So, This means that the conduit run that is connected to the conduit body must be independently supported within that distance. 314.23 ETOR says that the enclosure must be supported by metal or non-metallic cable trays. The enclosure must be securely fastened to the cable tray. 314.23 F3 The enclosure can be supported by cable, using one or more listed cable ties or straps. The cable must be supported within 12 inches, or 300 millimeters, of the enclosure. And finally, 314.23 FR and FF covers other support methods, but they will not be discussed at this time. When using 314.23E, it's important to ensure that the selected method is suitable for the specific application and that all relevant requirements of the NEC are met. This includes proper conduit support, secure fastening of the enclosure, and adherence to spacing limitations. Remember that electrical work must always be performed by qualified individuals who are familiar with the applicable codes and standards. Failure to follow these guidelines can result in unsafe installations that pose a risk of electrical shock, fire, or other hazards. Supporting a conduit body correctly involves several key considerations. Firstly, the method used must provide rigid and secure support, preventing movement or strain on the conduit or its connections. Secondly, the support should be appropriate for the size and weight of the conduit body and the type of conduit it's connected to. Thirdly, the support should comply with the NEC and any local codes. Fourthly, the materials used for support should be durable and resistant to corrosion. Fifthly, the installation should be neat and workmanlike. The purpose of these rules is to ensure electrical safety and prevent damage to the wiring system. If a conduit body is not properly supported, it can sag, pull away from its connections, or become damaged, leading to potential hazards. These hazards include, firstly, electrical shock. If the conduit body or its connections become damaged, live wires may be exposed, posing a risk of electrical shock to anyone who comes into contact with them. Secondly, fire. Loose or damaged connections can create arcs or sparks, which can ignite nearby flammable materials, leading to a fire. Thirdly, equipment damage. Improperly supported conduit can place strain on connected equipment, causing it to malfunction or fail prematurely. Fourthly, code violations. Failure to comply with the NEC and local codes can result in fines, penalties, and the need for costly rework. In conclusion, properly supporting a conduit body is essential for ensuring the safety and reliability of an electrical system. By following the guidelines outlined in the NEC and using appropriate support methods, electricians can create installations that are safe, durable, and code compliant.